I would be lying if I said that there's not days where I am tired and you feel like you've got a bunch of stuff done this week, but when you look at it, you all you did was busy work. You spent a
Mm.
whole week organizing your desk, buying new notebooks, setting up a CRM, Googling different lead sources, and then a whole week went by and you haven't actually made a call or talked to a seller or talked to a buyer. And if you have the right people around you, they will be able to say, hey, I see that you're working on stuff, but if you want to make money and you want to move the business forward, you're not working on the right stuff.
So this is the Real Estate Level Up podcast, where we bring you every single week someone who is actively doing the business, someone who is an inspiration, and someone who I've had a chance to get to know often behind the scenes, somebody from our community, and someone I think will be an inspiration to you. And so today is a special guest, someone who has been a part of the community for about 3 years, and someone who is a mother, a wife, a dear to my heart because she loves horses. And, I'm from Louisville. So what a cool thing. But she also is a successful real estate investor. And now, in more recent time, has become part of the TRUKA team. And so she wears a lot of hats, but she's someone who I think will bring you a lot of inspiration. So, Amanda Gill, thank you for being with us today, my friend. How are you feeling?
I am feeling great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you have actually just coming off the heels of a little bit tougher. You was under the weather for a few days, and you're the type of person who said, "I'm going to show up anyway. I still will be on the pod. It was scheduled, so thank you, and thank you for being here." So take us back a little bit, and before we go all the way back and we talk about horses and the love for life and your family and your kids, who is Amanda today, and what is inspiring you in the real estate investing game?
Oh, that's a good question. So I would like to refer to myself now as a reformed wallflower. So
I like that.
I I used to be someone who was very quiet, very not interested in going up and asking questions, not interested in getting on the phone, not I was so kind of wrapped up in being shy and being that wallflower person that I didn't even want to call and schedule like doctor's appointment. You know,
Hmm.
they're expecting you to call. They would like you to call. The person at the desk is paid to talk to you and schedule your appointment. But there was so much anxiety with talking to people that I
Yeah,
had for a long time. So I'm a reformed wallflower.
I like that. And something, somebody listening to this, as you've been a part of the community for a while, several of the people in our community know you
Mhm.
and probably would be shocked to hear that because that's not the Amanda that you now see. So, for somebody listening to this, maybe they're already successful in the business and they're going, "Man, I love hearing inspirational stories like this," or someone who is brand new to the business and terrified of the phones. How the heck do you go from afraid to make a doctor's appointment to calling sellers like it's not a big deal?
You need two things. You need to, you just need to do it, but you also need the right people in your
You're leaving us in
corner who,
suspense.
when you do struggle or when you only
I don't
manage
know
to
if that
make
froze
one
on my
call
end or
and
your
leave
end.
one voicemail that day because you were so nervous, they say, hey, that was a good first step. Now tomorrow you've got to leave three voicemails and then you've got to leave five and then you got to have a conversation. Somebody that can give you the right prodding, or a community is even better of people who can give you the right prodding and encouragement. It's a good mix of, hey, you got to do better, along with, hey, you did really good. I think is really important to work out of that.
So, thank you for sharing that, Amanda. Another question for you: when you're building this business, like something I notice about you is I don't know if you truly enjoy it or if you've just learned to act like you do, but it seems like even the tough tough discussions, even pushback. People that the hard discussions, what people would consider hard, seem to you're good at them. Maybe you even enjoy them. So how does that happen? What's your mindset when you're on the phone? It's a hard call. You're having hard discussions. Where does that come from?
I think it's about the approach that you take to the call. So if you know going in that you're going to call somebody, I'll use an example of one I did a little while back where we were in the middle of closing, title work was in process, title comes back, we get the report back, and we were pretty sure we were just going to close in a couple days. We didn't know there were any liens. There were 7 liens, totaled about $20,000 worth of liens on a $120,000 house. It's a lot. And we were gonna give the gentleman about 20 grand at closing, pay him out as equity, take over the rest of the debt. That's a tough conversation because now potentially he's getting nothing at closing if we've got to pay off all these liens. So if you know that you're going to have a little bit of a tough conversation, I think you can prepare for it a little bit and approach it as another opportunity to just go ask more questions. I have found that the best way to handle any of the calls, whether it's the first time or the 82nd time that you're talking to somebody, is just ask them some more questions. Try to figure out what's going on. So I got on and I asked him some questions, and it could have been something that people would have wanted to avoid because it's not fun. But you get in there and you find out, oh, well, half of these liens should have gone away in one of his multiple bankruptcies that he's got going on. Okay, let's go get the paperwork. Let's get it sorted out because now we can move it forward. And I think it's if you approach everybody the way that you would want them to approach you if you're having
Mm,
a tough time, you would want somebody to ask you some questions before they judged you or before they just decided that they didn't want to buy your property anymore and give you an opportunity to work through it. And I think that's really important. We have to remember that the other side of the phone is just another person. They're going through some stuff and we
yeah.
don't necessarily know what that is. But the more we ask, the more we can find out, and then maybe we can solve it and actually make their day better.
I like that. And something knowing you like I have, Amanda, your life, the way you help people, the way you serve, it really resonates. I find with a lot of people who know maybe what to do, but struggle to execute, or sometimes feels fear, but says, "I just want to do it anyway." What's your philosophy around that, and how does it affect the other aspects of your life as a mother? As you have an incredible husband, Scott. You have an incredible horse, Scotty. Like, how does it affect all aspects of your life and the philosophy you live?
I think there's a lot of things that we do, and it doesn't matter what you decide that you're good at or not good at. There's a lot of things that we do in our daily life that can give us a little bit of fear or can give us a little bit of anxiety or can make us feel like it's just something we don't want to do.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, often those are the things that we kind of need to do to get through our day. Whether it's I don't really feel comfortable talking to sellers, or I don't really feel comfortable picking up the phone and telling the nice lady at the title company I really need her to get it together because we really need this thing to close on time.
Yeah.
Or I don't really want to go out and change the lockbox on the property because but I don't have anybody else to do it, so I guess I gotta find time, right? There's a reason why it needs to get done, and if it needs to get done and it's realistically the right thing to do to move you forward, it's not always going to be a fun activity, but I think it's about how you approach it. It's the same like I was saying about talking to sellers. If you approach it in your mind like it's not going to be fun and you're going to hate it and you're going to be miserable, you're probably going to be miserable and you're probably going to hate it. When I My son is 18 months old now. If I walk up to my 18-month-old and I tell him that I need him to give me his toy and then I take it and I walk away, he's probably going to be very upset. If I come up with some sort of cool way to trade him or to change his focus or to get him thinking about something else that's awesome, I can probably get that toy with no tears
Yeah.
because now he's thinking about something else. He's more engaged. He's excited about this other thing over here and he's not miserable. So if we're thinking about, oh, I gotta call these sellers, I gotta follow up on my leads, we might not have as much fun as if we're thinking, oh, I get to call these sellers, and when I'm done, as long as I have my 3 conversations for the day, I'm gonna take myself to dinner. This is gonna be awesome, right? Find a way to kind of bring the joy, whatever it is that you need to do.
I like that perspective. I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and kids teach you so much. And it's such a reminder, there's something I think that is so special about just that pure joy and excitement, and sometimes life can beat us up
Hmm.
and business can beat us up. Things go wrong, things go sideways, sellers lie to you, or buyers lie to you, things go wrong. And when you can just renew that and say, man, I get to serve sellers. I get to grow. If I really just help people get where they want to go, everything begins to change. Now, something you told the pre podcast team, shout out to John and crew. Uh, you said you don't need more knowledge. You need the right people and the courage to get out of your own way. What
Hmm.
does that mean to you? Where does that come from?
There are probably, I don't know, at least 1,000 different books, podcasts, websites, uh, courses, videos, classes that you can go to learn how to buy real estate 190,000 ways. You don't need to keep going to all the classes and keep learning the new thing and keep learning the big hot trend. You need people in your corner who are going to support you by both helping you when you're stumbling and lifting you up to keep you going and getting you back on the right track mentally, and also calling you out when you're lying to yourself and you feel like you've got a bunch of stuff done this week, but when you look at it, you all you did was busy work. You spent a
Mm.
whole week organizing your desk, buying new notebooks, setting up a CRM, um, Googling different lead sources, and then a whole week went by and you haven't actually made a call or talked to a seller or talked to a buyer. And if you have the right people around you, they will be able to say, hey, I see that you're working on stuff, but if you want to make money and you want to move the business forward, you're not working on the right stuff.
When it comes to a shift, you're talking about working on the right things, and somebody might be listening to this going, crap, I realize I'm avoiding the hard work, or I need to, maybe I'm doing the hard work but I'm not pausing to think enough. What's the shift? I've noticed it. I know you told the pre-production team about a very intentional shift, a very obvious shift that's happened in the last 6 months. What brought that about? Why did you all of a sudden say, hey, I'm going to make this change?
I think there everybody has some point in their life where you look around and you say, I've been saying for a while that things need to change and that we need to do this or I need to do that or it would be great if blah, blah, blah happened. But at some point, you, if you're going to make real progress, you have to get really honest with yourself about, okay, realistically, if I'm going to end up over here, or if my family is going to end up over here doing this awesome stuff, what is that actually going to take? Who is actually going to have to do what? And for me, it was realizing that I know all of the right people. I have relationships with all of the right people. That's not necessarily what I need. What I need is to lean into it, leverage what I have access to already, and recognize that I know what to do. I know how to do it. And now it's time to kind of get rid of the rest of the excuses that I'm giving myself. My son's not going to get younger, and it's
Yeah.
not going to get easier to take care of him. It's just going to be different as he gets
Mm.
older. So I can't say, oh, well, when he's 2, maybe it'll be easier and I'll have more time, because that's not really how it works. They're always going to need time and attention. And the longer I wait, the less I can really give him if I look at it in the long run.
So, being a real estate investor,
Hmm.
being a director of operations, being a first time mom for the last 18 months now, spending years battling fear like you did, but now blossoming into a lot of roles, taking on a lot of things, and being successful at so many things. How the heck do you do it all?
You ever watched a duck swim on a lake?
Yeah.
They look real cool and calm and collected. If you look under the lake, they're just paddling away so they
Yeah.
can keep going. That's how it feels a lot of days. But
Hmm.
I think it's I don't want to say that it's easy. I don't want to say that I've got some sort of magic trick to it, because if there's any working moms watching this, it's not easy. It's not magic. I have plenty of help. I have plenty of people around me that are awesome and understanding. Um, and I would be lying if I said that there's not days where I am tired. And I might rather just kind of sit on the couch and watch a TV show, but that's not going to get me where I'm trying to go. So it's put in the work and also give yourself some time every day that is, one, just for you, and two, just for your family. So you
Good
can
advice.
recharge your own batteries and enjoy your family.
I want to ask you something, shifting gears a little bit that you were talking about, Amanda, because you you talk about how real estate investing is a team sport. You talk about being surrounded by the right people, but you specifically felt the need to mention that Judy's seen something in you before you've seen it in yourself.
Hmm.
Judy Sweeney, shout out Judy if you're watching this. What was it that she did? What was it she's seen in you, and how has that affected you?
I'm still not 100% sure what it was that she really saw in me, but what she did for me was, when I was real new to our community, to the family, I she was assigned as my coach pretty early on, and kind of there to help me. And her and I just get along really well. And I helped her find a buyer for one of her houses at some point rather early on, and ended up helping her with some tech stuff, and helped her with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and started working with her and her business. And if I look back at it now, I don't even think I knew what she was doing, but she was very slowly and very carefully planting seeds. And she would see me do this, and then she'd say, okay, another month or so would go by, and she'd say, hey, can you help me with this? And then another month would go by, oh, can you help me with that? And before I knew it, a year later, I've done transaction coordination for her. I've closed deals. I've renegotiated deals. I've done all of these things that, if she would have asked me up front, can you do all of these different things, I would have said, absolutely not. There's no way. But it was just a little here and a little there. And oh, it's no big deal. You're just going to call Sarah at the title company. She's real nice. I've used her before. Just check on this property for me. And before you know it, now I'm talking to this person about 3 other properties down the street. And I am very confident that she had a plan, but I was unaware that it was unfolding at the time.
So Coming from the background you did, and I'm sure there's some people listening to this because I know I used to be that way where I didn't have the confidence. And
Hmm.
finding someone who believes in us before we sometimes believe in ourselves is the game changer we need. Since having experienced that, how have you, some I watch you do in others, how have you passed that along to now believe in others before they believe in themselves? What's that look like for you?
That's really fun. It's it's really fun to listen to somebody's call or listen to them practice a script and be able to give them feedback in a way that builds their confidence, but also shifts their language in a way that they can see, oh, okay, well, if I, that's what I was missing. It happened earlier today, actually. I was giving some feedback on some script practice, and one of the students said, that's the phrase I've been missing. I've been missing, well, we normally buy with nothing down, and then just stop talking. and and you could see the light bulb go off for her,
Mm,
and she went, okay, I'm going to write that down and I'm going to use that next time on the phone. And now I know who she is, and I can go back in a week and say, hey, how has it been going using this line on your sellers? Have you noticed a change?
mm.
And that part of interacting with people is really, really fun. I know you know this. It's really, really fun to watch the gears turn and the light bulbs go off for people.
I think there's such a joy in that, and I love watching others experience that, and of course, you know, whether that's directly, as I've had the privilege to do now for a while, you know, coaching and helping others level up in business, or watching others experience it together. It's a powerful thing because I think momentum builds and success begets success.
Hmm.
And when you truly believe that abundance, then my gosh, I just want to help more people. And I think that's a beautiful heart that I see from you. So, somebody listening to this, if they are saying, gosh, I want to succeed in real estate, but I just don't know what step to take, or I want this, but I'm scared of my next steps. Like, what's your message to them?
I would tell them to go find the place that you feel comfortable to build your community or to build your network, and then stick with it. Give it at least
Mm,
6 months and see if that is where you really want to be, or do you need to find something different to support you to get to your goals. But go find one. When you find one that you think, okay, this is the community, this is the place for me, dive in and stick with them for at least 6 months, because you won't necessarily know off of the very first meeting if they're truly the right place for you. But I mean, sometimes you do know right away. The first time that Scott and I saw you speak, we went, oh, okay, yeah, that's the guy. Cool.
yeah.
All right, we got to be in his world. All right, how do we do that? Let's pull it off. Um, but if 6 months had gone by and we looked at each other and said, you know, we just haven't felt good or warm or welcome for 6 months, then maybe we would have looked at another option, because at that point the the shiny new feeling has worn off and the
Yeah.
reality of the business is set in. And you need to find somewhere where you have people that will have your back and hold you accountable and push you forward. But that doesn't mean that they're going to do it for you. And you shouldn't want someone to do it for you. Because if
Yeah.
you don't know how to fish, you're not going to be able to feed yourself in a year.
Good perspective. Last question. Somebody listening to this and you're inspiring them. How do they find you and your husband and your little guy and your horses? How do they reach you?
Oh my. Well, I have Facebook and Instagram, but I am terrible at posting on them. Um, so
So
you
hunt you
can
up on Facebook and
hunt me up
Instagram.
on Facebook and Instagram. I'm there. I log into them a lot, but I spend most of my time in Facebook on Marketplace looking at houses.
That's
So,
fair.
or in some, I have a few Facebook groups I'm in where I window shop at horses I'm gonna buy in the future. So
Like
that's
that.
where most of my Facebook time goes. But yeah, you can hunt me up on Facebook or Instagram. Can reach out to me there and we can connect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us, Amanda. I know this is going to impact a lot of people in the community who get to know you from a distance, but now you get to know you a little deeper. And of course, people who haven't yet met you. So thank you for being here. Thank you, John and team, for putting this together. And what a great time.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers to many more great years ahead.
Yeah.